Joining us right about now to discuss about Democracy Day is Dr. Tayo Okwola, the political communicator from Mass Communication Department, University of Lagos. Thank you for joining us on the program.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's hit the ground running straight away. What are your thoughts on June the 12th as the Democracy Day, the new Democracy Day in Nigeria? That's one. And of course, the President Muhammadu Buhari's speech to mark this inaugural celebration.
Thank you very much. I'm so happy that at last, the federal government considered it wise to immortalize June 12th. We clamor for it because since independence in 1960, we have never had a turbulent journey to democracy like we had during the June 12th. You will all recall the scenarios leading to that period. When, first and foremost, ex-President Babangida rolled out the transition program, we had 13 political associations, and at the end of which they were cancelled. So before government now forcefully came about with the concept of two political parties, one a little bit to the right from the center, and the second one a little bit to the left from the center. The two political parties, the defunct National Republican Convention and the defunct Social Democratic Party. At the presidential primaries in Port Harcourt and Jos. Port Harcourt for NRC, Jos for SDP. Bashorun Abiola emerged, as the SDP presidential flag bearer, while Bashir Tofa emerged as the presidential, candidate for the NRC. We had a contest. The campaign took place across the country. I happens to be one of the 18 journalists that covered it, Bashorun Abiola's campaign across the country. So the man worked very hard. He worked very hard, and he had a slogan that if elected, he was going to banish poverty from the land. All of us, there is no longer a hidden fact that today now, poverty is a major problem that we must confront in the country. And we thank God that President Buhari mentioned it in his speech, that he was going to equally fight poverty.
Which brings me to the next question. My apologies for cutting you. I mean, looking at the president's speech, he wants to deepen democracy. Yeah. He has plans for the country in the next 4 years. So how do we achieve this with the present administration?
Well, he has said it too. Number one, you have a responsibility. I have a responsibility. And all of us, the generality of Nigerians, we all have a responsibility to give him the support needed to transform the country. Deepening democracy in the face of poverty, hunger, unemployment, it is impossible. So we need to support the president, in the actualization of his programs to transform the country. He has given the speech. That is not the first time we'll be having speeches like that. The next thing is for us, the media to equally rally around him in ensuring, you are aware of our constitutional provisions, in ensuring, making government accountable to the people. So in doing that, the developmental approach is there, which is a concept in journalism that for government to transform the country, for government to, actualize his vision for transforming the country, that the support of the media too, must be there. So the president has made a beautiful speech. We just pray that God will give him the grace, the will, the political will to actualize all those promises.
Now, what would be your reaction, to some people in some quarters? Of course, we do want to believe that a generality of Nigerians see this as a welcome development, June 12th. But some will still argue that May the 29th, which was formerly the Democracy Day, was the day we actually got our democracy. Okay, we can remember June 12th, but somebody, and of course, some will even argue that, like the Nobel laureate alluded to while he was making his speech, that of course the June 12th in some quarters, some see it as perhaps, something for a struggle for a certain geopolitical zone of the country. What's your reaction to that?
No, that is part of the problems. That is part of our problems in the country. We tend to look at things from ethnic perspective, rather than looking at things from national perspective. For Christ's sake, let me tell you, the president has to come from a section of the country. It could come from Niger Delta. It could come from the north. It could come from the east. So we should not, because of the fact that Bashorun Abiola happens to be, a Yoruba man that will now see it as a Southwest phenomenon. No, no. And by virtue of the fact that we had two political parties then, the presidential candidate, all over over time, the political configuration of the country is that if the president comes from the West, and the vice president must come from another section of the country, the two political parties, they fielded their candidates, one from the North, the other one from the South. We know that one will win. It's either the person that will win is either from the North or from the South. So we cannot now say because the person that won the election came from the Southwest and now we now ethnicize it. No. The truth of the matter is that June 12th, that is being celebrated today, today is the most appropriate day. We wouldn't have had democracy on May 29, 1999, if Bashir Abiola had not struggled for the restoration of democracy. Don't forget, sir, that after the military took over on January 15, 1966, they were there till October 1, 1979. And after that government was equally dismissed by the military on December 31st, 1983, we had the military hanging on. If somebody had not struggled for the actualization of that mandate, we would not have had democracy that we are celebrating today. So we give that credit to Bashir Abiola, and it's equally, noteworthy. Okay. The president's speech that the National Assembly, the National Stadium Abuja, yeah, should be named after Bashir Abiola. Because at the time that the former government of Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan renamed UNILAG, after
there were several kickbacks on that.
Because of all the universities in the country. We shouldn't forget that UNILAG is very different because it was established by Act of Parliament. So, and if you are going to change it, you equally go through the same process.
Dr. Tayo Kukwala will definitely have to end it there. Thank you so much for your thoughts on the inaugural celebration of June 12 as the New Democracy Day for Nigeria. Thank you so much for joining us.